Hello friends, today in this video we are going to discuss the development of writing. We'll see different stages in the development of writing and type of different writing systems, pictograms, ideograms, logograms and many more regarding this topic. So let's begin by development of writing, how writing came into being. So there are large number of languages that only exist in spoken form, not in written form. As you observe, as you see in daily life, that there are many local languages that we spoke, but they don't have any written form, do not have any alphabetical system. It's just practice, we just practice it in spoken form. So for the languages that do not have writing system, the development of writing is a recent phenomena, and it is difficult to decide whether a piece of graphic expression could be taken as artistic image or a symbol of primitive writing. So the problem is that in Egyptian or Greeks, the same word was used for both write and draw. So every language has its own written writing system, specific words for and specialized thing or particular thing. So the fact is that writing system evolve independently of each other at different times in several parts of the world, and much of the evidence used in the reconstruction of ancient writing systems come from inscriptions. Okay, the cavemen, the primitives of human beings, they used to live in caves, and here their different inscriptions were found. Cave writing, they used to write or draw some kind of pictures or shapes on stones. Okay, and so the tables discovered, the samples discovered in various parts of the Middle East around 3500 BC, and those were made by the Sumerians. And who are Sumerians? It's basically a civilization in Mesopotamia who invent cuneiform. So we'll discuss later on what cuneiform is. It's a wedge shape. Basically it means a wedge shape, a triangular like shape. So they used to write using such shapes. We'll see in this video later on in detail. And the interpretation of a single sign and early groups of signs is not possible because it's too ancient and old, and there is no one to comprehend or understand that thing in contemporary world. And the system was developed so that the information could be recorded, and they have keep a record of what they have. So these are some of their samples, you see. And they use clay tokens, clay tablets and distinctive shapes to draw on them. And see, this is a sample. They use such shapes to draw on clay temples, and draw these samples still exist. So they understand what they try to convey. It's beyond our understanding at this level, because writing system become too easy in today's world. And so the scripts means the copies, the writers, they drew the sign on soft clay tablets using pointed tools, probably that are made up of reed is a plant. So this is a sample. And now we'll see stages in development of writing. The first stage is signs are only used as symbols, and second stage is the beginning of writing, which with limited standardization. So here we see that the early developments include emergence of norms in writing directions, form of individual signs, and orthography, which means spellings of single words, and the gradual tendency towards writing longer inscription had begun to evolve, and the writing system began to become standardized. And standardize means to become standard or to gain some value. And yes, we'll see that how English language become standardized and how it was different from the older version that is known as Old English. And actions are often expressed not by writing a word but by depicting the actions. And different examples are inscription on jars written of different numbers, early short phonetic inscriptions, and they used to write on ivory, bone, wooden tablets, clay tablets. These are some of their samples. And stage 3 is developing standardization. So this standardization means to make something standard or valuable. So at that point where the writing was used for more people, a fixed system was needed and soon developed. The signs and writing of many words are already those found in all kingdoms. So these are stages, and now we are going to discuss about types of writing systems. The first one is pictograms, as the name indicates, picto, which means picture. So when picture of something, like most common picture they used to the old people use is the sun, and it came to represent a particular image or recognizable picture of entities in a certain way, and it can be described as a form of picture writing. Pictogram is also known as picture writing. And modern forms of pictograms are there. We use different signs. You on the way on the road you saw different signs that try to convey something such as no parking or many things like that, as you see. So these are basically pictograms, try to convey something through pictures. Okay, and if you don't speak any language yet you understand what the picture is try to convey. And when a pictogram takes a more fixed symbolic form and come to be used, for instance, not only to represent sun but also the heat, daytime, so the meaning, different meaning is associated with that particular symbol, and it is considered as a part of a system of idea writing. So that is known as ideogram. So ideogram, idea writing, different meaning can be associated with a particular symbol. So this ideogram is more abstract form of pictogram. And the sequence of symbols may be described verbally in a variety of ways. And importance of context and background information is there. Ideogram, or also known as ideographs, they display no clear pictorial link with external reality. And all primitive writing systems were a mixture of pictographic, ideographic, and linguistic elements. And the distinction between pictograph, ideogram is essentially a difference between symbol and entity it represents. So in pictogram we see that one symbol represent one entity, whereas in ideogram one symbol is used for different associated meanings. And more picture like forms are pictogram, and abstract and derived forms are ideograms. And a key property of both pictograms and ideogram is that they do not represent words or sound in a particular language. They are not restricted to any one particular language. They can be assumed or used by in any language. Here you can see some pictogram. This symbol represent phone call, this bus station. So pictures are used as a symbols to convey meaning. And now we'll see cuneiform. What cuneiform is? So it's derived from Latin, which means wedge shape. This shape, triangular like shape, and it refers to technique used to make symbols. It was this basically initially used by the Sumerians. And So its earliest form developed from pictographs, and it is used to record a variety of information such as temple activities, business and trade, and cuneiform was also used to write stories, myths, and personal letters. So these are some samples of that. And cuneiform and cuneiform script was used to write different languages. Sumerians, as I already told you, in Mesopotamia, they invent this system and used to write other languages like Elamite, Hittite. Okay, this is sample of their writing using cuneiform. And now we'll see an example. The word for sheep in Sumerian is Udu, in Akkadian it's Seni, in English it's sheep. So look at the signs, different signs, how the signs varies from language to language for the same object. And now we'll see logograms. So logo mean words, logogram basically it's a word writing. So when the symbols come to represent words in a language, they are described as example of word writing or logograph. Logograms were the graphemes basically the smallest unit of words and characters. So the characters they represent that words. And in Egyptian hieroglyphics, which means house, and derived from a diagram representing floor plan of a house, and in Chinese writing it means a river, and it derives from the pictorial description of a stream flowing between two banks. And several thousand graphemes, so these are basic smallest unit of writing and that involve in a logographic system. And now we'll see rebus writing. So it's the process of rebus writing is a way of using existing symbols to represent sounds of a language. So here you can see through different stages they develop, and we were inclined towards more modern form, and now we came towards the sound of language. That system that we have today use the sounds of language, and symbol for one entity is taken or as a symbol for the sound of a spoken word that is used to refer to that entity. And for example we'll see date. So here is an example: ba, which means bought, ba, which means father. So these symbols are used the sound associated with that particular word. And Slavic writing, which is a modern writing system. So when a writing system employs a set of symbols which represents the pronunciation of syllables, and it is described as Slavic writing. So syllable, what do you understand by word syllable? So syllable, as you know, in language, in linguistic, the the breaths we take to pronounce, to utter a word. So there are different words, some are monosyllabic, some are disyllabic, some are multisyllabic words, and it's a phonological system. Okay, and phonology, treat sounds as an abstract entity, and each corresponds to a spoken syllable, vowel, consonant pairs, we'll see. And there do not seems to be any purely syllabic writing systems in use today. But Japanese can describe as having an at least particular syllabic writing system. In 19th century, Cherokee Indians they invented and used a syllabic writing system to produce written form from spoken language. And the first fully developed syllabic writing system was used by the Phoenicians around 1000 BC. And alphabetic writing, that is the most recent one, and English is basically based on alphabetic writing. so in which the alphabet is essentially as used, and it's essential a set of written symbols, the alphabets, which each represents a single type of sound. So yes, today we have IPS system, and which means that each symbol is associated with a single sound, and it directly corresponds between graphemes and phonemes, and system needs a small number of units. So this is what seems to have occurred in languages such as Arabic, Hebrew, English, and the early Greeks included symbols for the vowels in their alphabets. So in today we have to see English as an example of this alphabetic writing, and in modern contemporary world we see that English is based on alphabetic writing. There are specific alphabets for specific sounds. So in English language we have 44 sounds, okay, and so some vowels, consonant sounds, and based on alphabetic. And now we'll see written English. We'll come to written English. So there does not seem to be a frequent mismatch between the form of written and sounds of spoken English today. So there may be a number of historical reasons for this, and one of them is language change. As you know that language changes over a period of time, and as you study the evolution of English language, how it evolves from old English and how the modern English is different from old English. So there have been takes place change in spelling, change in pronunciation, change in grammar, syntax, each and everything change. And when you read the old English, you become astonished that, oh, how different it was, the old English, and it is difficult to understand the old English. And the modern English, it's the simplified version of English that we use today, and fixed spelling of written English in the form that was used in 15th century England, and derivations from forms used in writing in other languages, and recreation from Old English 16th century by spelling reformers. And yes, probably I'll make a video, a separate video on language change as well. We'll see. Yes, and another video is available on my channel, difference between old, middle and modern English as well. And so written form provides unreliable clues with reference to spoken English. So that's all for today. Hope you understand. The notes are in the description. Thank you for watching.